Hey, Glue Troopers, Max and Max's Models here. Want to wish everybody a happy Labor Day. Might get out to the shed later and do some work, but I have Labor Day stuff going on. So what I thought we would talk about today real quick is models in television shows. I watched an old episode of Route 66 the other day that my brother sent me. It had some really cool flying and skydiving scenes in it. It was, I think, called Two Enemies and a Stranger. Anyway, it's Jack Warden plays a famous Marine Corps World War II fighter ace who crashes down in the Everglades, not far from where I'm at right now. And the guys are working at a flying center, and they go down, and this is one of the later episodes with Glenn Corbett, where he's a Vietnam vet and a former Army paratrooper. So they parachute in to find him, and turns out a third guy parachutes in from another plane. It's an old Japanese fighter pilot that had gone up against him in combat during the war. It was really a very well-developed episode. I'd forgotten about the high quality of writing of some of these older shows. And model airplanes were in it because his wife has a model Wildcat, although he's flying both a Wildcat and a Hellcat in the show. But she has this, I don't know which one it was. It could be, the show was made in the early 60s, so it could be Monogram or anybody. But anyway, it was nice close-ups of the kit model on display. I assume that was the plastic kit model they made for the show. And a couple of the other things I really appreciated about it was the guys down the swamps, and it shows them sweating, which was, the show tended to be filmed on location, so it might have been real sweat. But being from Florida, I'm like, yeah, now that's what you look like when you're busting around in the bush in Florida. And they had some interesting flying scenes. They actually got a real Hellcat and a T6 that sat in for a Zero mixed in with some archival footage. I don't know if this Zero and Key 43 were captured aircraft that we were film test flying or captured Japanese footage or what the story, but it was surprisingly clean footage. Anyway, it got me to thinking about the models of the cars. You know, that show, the Corvette was already a popular car, but it really brought a lot of attention to it. And they had several different cars. In fact, I checked a website. Apparently, they change the cars every 3,000 miles because they wanted them to look new. And also, they changed the new model every year because Chevrolet was one of their sponsors. Supposedly, as the story goes, Glenn Corbett actually got himself a free Corvette by telling the guys at Chevrolet when he was cast to replace George Maharis that, the problem, guys, is that I actually own a Ford Thunderbird. It might be a little embarrassing if I came to set in a T-Bird, so they gave him a free Corvette, or so goes the story. But apparently he didn't even own a car. The whole thing was a little con job. For those who are unfamiliar with the show, real quick, it started off with Martin Milner and George Maharis as a couple of guys who was kind of Kerouac's on the road. They every episode was an anthology series. Every episode they were in a different town working some kind of local job, and they were just young guys in America trying to find themselves, riding around in their Corvette and working from city to city. And it was largely shot on location. So the cast and the crew were always flying out or trucking out to various places across the country. Unfortunately, midway through the third season, George Maharis got, I believe it was hepatitis, and was taken out of the show. I think he made a couple of short appearances after that, but then Milner did a few standalone episodes, and then they replaced his character permanently with Glenn Corbett, playing an early Vietnam veteran called Link, who apparently had seen some really bad stuff in Vietnam, so he was a somewhat more introspective and even slightly brooding character. But apparently after the cast change, the show lost popularity, which is an uncommon cast change as people get used to a certain, chemistry. And no matter how good the new person is, it's really hard to get that chemistry back. The Corvette, which they did a C1 series, they did from 1960 to, I believe it was 63. So they had each version of the car, including the first C2 series, which I think was actually in 1964 that they got their hands on one early because, as you know, they came out in late 63. And the original car was a light blue Corvette. Everybody thought the car was red because all the episodes were shot in black and white, but it was actually light blue. They had to get a color that minimized the reflection, so it had to be more subdued color. And then later on, they got a beige one, which is what they used for the rest of the run of the show. That was the color they went with. I believe it was beige. But anyway, I know a lot of you guys are big car fans, and I'm thinking, maybe we'll get back to doing a television car build or something like that. I mean, there's Route 66 would be a natural. Maybe we'll do a Corvette build or something like that. We've got plenty of builds ahead of us, but just some ideas. But anyway, I just thought you guys might find that kind of interesting. So that's all I got for right now. I hope you guys have a wonderful Labor Day. Take care of yourselves, and as always, model on.